Bam, we're live. Welcome to day 34. All right, let's get going. Let me share my screen here. All right, so as you know, we've been going through this 30-day AI prompt challenge for remodelers, and it is going really well. So that's why we've extended it. We're now into the bonus week, and this is now day 34. So for those of you that have been tuning in, appreciate the responses. For those of you that reached out as well, and asking questions and giving comments, thanking us for putting this together, you are very welcome. That's what we're here for. Like I said, the goal always at the Remodeling Academy is to level up all remodelers, the remodeling experience for everyone: the contractor, the entrepreneur, the homeowner, the vendor, all the above. So as you guys get more versed in this AI world day by day, I believe it's going to impact everybody. I would ask you guys, for those of you that have been tuning in, I'm curious if you would prefer for us to possibly go live through maybe a different platform. We seem to be having a lot of issues with the YouTube live. So whatever link I put out there, it just doesn't seem to work later in the day when we actually do want to go live. So I'm wondering if we'd be better, if you guys would be better served if we did something maybe on, like one of the other platforms. Maybe we try Facebook. I'm not sure. So if you have any input, if you'd love, you can always reach out to me directly and share your thoughts. If the, if you find that any of this process that we do here has been frustrating and you think we could do it better, we're open to any feedback. All right, with that said, here we are, day 35. So a big thing here is things are changing all the time. So how can you stay current with real-time data? And I gotta tell you, whether everyone has opinions, right? But one thing you can't deny is that Grok is pretty amazing. And if you have not used it, you should definitely set yourself up an account, because here's the deal. Today, information, it's not changing weekly, and it's shifting fast. And the other thing that changes fast is people's perceptions. And here's what I'm saying. You have to understand, as soon as something hits the news, whether it's true or not, people are hearing about it and they're forming an opinion. And the best thing that you can do is at least be aware of it. And then when the client brings it up, you can go, yeah, you heard that? I've heard that as well. And then they will trust when you go to make some corrections to their uninformed assumptions that they have made based off of that data. Because a lot of the data that we're hearing is often incorrect at first, right? People were claiming that prices were going to skyrocket because of tariffs. And all in all, yes, some things have been affected, but it's not like every single thing across the board has been affected. So again, you have to understand that, and then understand how you can language to your homeowner, right? I mean, the best day to do a remodel was 10 years ago, right? When things were cheaper, and explain that to the homeowner. There's no sense waiting. Like, today is the day to get your remodel underway. It's never going to be as cheap as it is today. It's only going to get more expensive. There is no waiting for the prices to come back down. Labor's not getting any less expensive. Everything is just going up. And you have to explain to them the power of inflation and how that's also making a huge impact. It's not that, so like on one hand, we may feel like we are being paid more per hour, but what we can purchase with that more per hour has also gone up. So in effect, I would challenge that many of us are not doing better these days than potentially in the past from a percentage wise, right? So inflation is real. Homeowners need to understand that. And the best time to, again, do a remodel is right now. So this is where Grok can come in. Because unlike some of the other AI tools, they rely on static data. Or understand this, some of the other models, their content that they're being trained on or that they have access to is behind. They don't have access to real-time data to the extent that Grok does. Now, again, I say that today and tomorrow, one of the AI platforms could completely change everything. So when I speak to you guys, understand that I'm just giving you the information that I'm aware of it and as I understand it in the moment today. Things are always changing, but as of right now, Grok is probably the one that you're going to get the most real-time data. All right. And so you're not going to be relying on last year's data, 10 years ago data. And also, you have to understand that many of the AI models are going to tell you things that they think you want to hear, and it's not necessarily the truth. Imagine that, just like people, right? So, like, this probably comes up. A lot of you want to ask your customers, "Oh, how do we do on the job?" And you're standing right there, and the pressure's on. They're going to lie to you, right? You want to find out the truth, what lies beneath the surface, and the real time data, right? So just to understand that a lot of these other AI tools, you say to them, I want to know the latest trends for 2025, and they say, here are the latest trends for 2025. And the data that they just researched to give you those trends was all based on 2023, for instance. So that's on you to do some research to understand what database the AI tool that you're using is accessing and how often is it updated? When was its last update? So anyhow, with that being said, Grok is, from my understanding, all very relative. I have asked it to pull up some data, and the results that I've gotten, I have seen that it is one of the most current ones out there. All right. I bring this up because you may want to use it to check material pricing. Okay. You may want to use it to research some permitting regulations. Now, I would be cautious with all of this, and it helps if you can input the data yourself. So if in my area, usually the city or county will sometimes put out a guide to some of the recent changes in permitting, and you can take that guide as a PDF and you can upload it or input it into the AI model that you're using, and you can ask it to, save it, research it, read it, and then when you ask it questions, it will be accurate. So you can also have it try to spot maybe some viral posts or renovation fails. I mean, whatever you're trying to boost, if you're trying to do something with your social media, you can also look up local homeowner complaints, recent trends in homeowner complaints, right? Maybe look up for a design trend. Right? So, I mean, it's really can be tailored to what is important to you right now. And it's real-time awareness that gives you the ability to make smarter decisions and have better timing and the ability to pivot faster. So here's a sample for what we could do for today's prompt. I use Grok a lot. And again, you want to have Grok informed as to how you like to think, how you act, what your business is all about. Give it some context so that it can best guide you and advise you. But short of nothing else, if you've never used it, you can just go into Grok, and I'll go there in a minute. I'm going to take this prompt right here. So let me highlight it, and we'll put it into Grok and see what results it gives us. So copy. All right. So here we are. We want to go over to Grok. And if you haven't used Grok, this is what it looks like. So again, you just have your bar down here. And we're going to type in all right, give me 1 second. I hit search. So we're using Grok's real-time search. Find recent news, updates, or trend that could impact residential remodelers. For example, it could be a new tariff affecting the cost of imported building materials, a surge in housing demand in the region, or a popular viral post, blah, blah, blah. So the other thing you can do, my screen is hiding it because I'm doing the share. Hold on. So you have what's called a deep search. The issue here, if you see, watch, if I put this prompt in here and I ask it to do the deep search, I believe it's going to take too long to give us that result. But here's what happens is now it's going to really start going through its database. Now, while it is doing that, let me come up here and give you that original answer. So here is our original prompt we put in. Using Grok's real-time search, find one recent news update or trend that could impact residential remodelers. So recent data from the National Association of Home Builders indicates that remodeling business material prices rose in June, right? driven by the higher construction machinery and equipment part prices, with metal commodities like steel, aluminum also increasing due to recent tariffs. So if you deal heavily in steel buildings or aluminum, right, and residential remodelers could adjust pre-ordering materials to lock in current prices of domestic material alternatives. Right, so that's a really quick response. Now down here you can see what we did was we asked it to do a deep search, and you can see it's still thinking. Okay, and full disclosure, I'm not certain how long this will take. This could take time. So let's see what it does though. You can see where it's thinking. So it's searching the news, right? The request is about recent news impacting residential remodelers. So it's focusing on current trends. It's considering examples like tariffs, building materials. It's searching for recent news and trends. It's found 9 results so far. It's browsing those results. It says renovation activity is still going strong, which is good news. That is what I have found. Here's what I also found. For those of you that are struggling right now, you are struggling because your word is about your message is not reaching the consumer. You're not doing the proper or adequate advertising, right? If you're just relying on word of mouth, I believe this year could be very challenging for somebody, because you have to be aware of movers and shakers in any market, and people that are moving in, buying and selling property, that's often who's doing the bulk of your remodeling. So I challenge you, if you're struggling this year, get in touch with us. We can help you alter some of your advertising, like where you're advertising and how you're advertising, who you're advertising to, change your message, get your hook right, get your ideal client avatar correct. So, and then capitalize on these trends. So let's see what all have. All right, so here we go. So what this does, this shows you some of the information up here, but we want to come down here, key points, right? So again, building materials rose in June. It seems likely that remodelers may need to adjust pricing strategies. Recent reports from the National Association of Home Builders indicate business and marketing to manage these rising prices. Remodelers might consider pre-ordering materials. That depends on your scale, okay? Survey. This note provides comprehensive overview of recent news updates, background context. So this is right now just focusing. And here's the thing. You got to understand, take everything with a grain of salt. Yeah, construction machinery and equipment parts are going up, but that doesn't necessarily mean the end of the world, okay? So you just want to be aware of it. Additional trends. Beyond tariff-related other trends, let's see. There is a growing remodeling market due to a decrease in home construction and rising home prices. All right. So that would also play into the fact that mortgage and interest rates are high right now. So that makes sense. So if you live in a market where there's a lot of older homes, obviously you want to be targeting those neighborhoods. If you do full service remodeling, right, like you're probably looking at a roof, siding, windows, doors, kitchens, baths, basements, additions, decks, patios. I mean, you can really run the gamut there. So here's some social media trends. Smart storage solutions, walk-in pantries, custom mudrooms. Here's something that's real interesting. If you don't do this currently, so we build a lot of wood specialties, I would call them. So if client needs some sort of special shelving system, maybe it's in a basement, maybe it's for their master bathroom, closet, whatever, right? A kid's game room, their home office, right? So if you can build custom wood shelving and storage solutions, you should highlight some of those things that you build. Show a before, show an after, even come back a week later after the homeowners put all their own personal things, and maybe the homeowner can take a minute and do a little intro for you on the camera where they walk through what their experience is like what they had to do before and how they use the storage space now. Homeowners will really appreciate the honesty that comes from a fellow homeowner. So anyway, if you haven't been using Grok, this is something you want to take a look at. I believe Grok to be very resourceful. This paperclip, that's how you attach things, obviously. So anyhow, we can stop the share at this point. And for those of you that have been tuning in, fantastic. I appreciate you. And again, reach out if you have any questions, if there's anything you want to know. If there's something specific that we went over in one of the episodes on the AI prompts that you don't have access to, or you're confused by, or you want to dig deeper, you can always reach out to me directly, and I'd be happy to go over it with you. We'll be back again tomorrow with another prompt, something that you can use to help your remodeling business when it comes to AI. So we appreciate you being here. You all have a good night. Take care.